Welcome to the Dice Box and new thing, Saturday Shenanigans, where we do one-shots in my homebrew world in order to help me actually flesh it out with histories and buildings and people and structure. I have to have structure now. Boo. Anyway, uh, anybody who actually watches this stuff, meet Nix.
Hello.
I
Long time listener, first time observer.
You're gonna be doing more than
Something.
observing.
I
Believe me,
know.
if I can get Antheus to talk in these things, I'm gonna get you to participate. Anywho,
Don't worry, I plan on participating.
I know
That was part of the
I'm
agreement.
I'm teasing. I'm going with it. I do that. That's why I actually manage to be a DM as well as I do. Anyway, 20 years prior to the advent of the cupcake coterie, we meet in the Egref Academy of Mathemagics, which is a sprawling group of buildings that have kind of sprung up like mushrooms in and around Izat Lane with no particular regard for architectural cohesion. All the buildings look different, although most of them do have the shared quality of very thick walls and a very thin roof. Which means basically less to replace when something blows up. The three of you have seen each other around campus. Yeah. Mostly, actually, introduce yourselves in character because you have seen each other around about campus. Noms and Nyx, you two have probably specialized in abjuration, so you share a few of the classes and have shared foundation classes with Natalie, which is why she's asked you, Ethelwyn, to make her staff. The first one melted, the second one gave off fireworks, the third one seems to be going well. And now name Jalen has probably been tapped to help carry Natalie's books because minor issues with lugging the number of books that Natalie carries around, and it's nice to be helpful. So yes, by all means, introduce yourselves, just so you know who you are and yeah, basically what you're recognizing when I put you all together. We'll start with Smeagol.
Mic check.
August, uh, black hair, very straight, sort of an overcoat, and basic dress shirt, slacks, like as sort of a halfway point between dressing for the fact that I want to be able to just pull stuff on and not have to deal with anything fiddly, as well as just wanting to look reasonably decent.
You're basically dressing like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly.
A little bit, yeah. Scientist, but haggard. And with a walking stick that's got a somewhat T-shaped top end that's got a fairly hefty crystal mounted in that, so that I can use it as a handlebar almost when walking, and also as a decent hook to go. Where are you going? You are not leaving me behind.
Okay, so we basically have science student. You can hear the capital letters.
Mm-hmm.
Ethelwyn, over to you.
Hey, my name is Ethelwyn Rossald, a young woman of the artificier variety, very much embracing the Egref spirit of innovation and a significant amount of experimentation to various results. Generally quite happy if it takes a few tries to do something, as that is part of the process. And even if the first couple versions have various sparks or fire larger than sparking, which is why she generally goes about in a very, very sturdy overcoat, thick gloves and boots, very much expecting that these things will happen. And like a very dark auburn, reddish hair, glasses,
Which probably double as
accent of
goggles.
someone who's not from around here. Yeah.
Yeah. So basic.
Not melting the laboratory.
At least she's not blowing it up this time.
That one exploded and melted.
Yes, but you
It
didn't
worked out
explode
right.
the lab this time.
There.
It's all part of the process.
Actually, you're playing right into the into the meet cute I have for you guys. So yes, Jalen.
Hi. This. I just basically am a fucking tall elf in all black, sort of like priest in training robes on. A little bit of teal down the center. Closer to Roman, if anything. It's sort of just this constant gaze of I have better shit to do right now. And
So basically, you have Natalie's kind of. Can we get on with this? I have shit to do.
pretty much.
Kept
Yeah.
at height so that I basically just use you as an icebreaker through
Pretty
through
much, yeah.
panels of people.
Oh, I can see you two getting along brilliantly. So yeah, Ethelwyn is not very much on the theory. Unfortunately, is probably kind of flunking the theory.
She also has better things to do when it comes to that.
But she has been told in no uncertain terms that if she does not pass the theory, she is going to be barred from the lab next semester.
Learning a bit about that.
Natalie is doing fine in most theory, but abjuration is not her strong point. So she's not flunking, but she wants to be doing better than she is. Natalie is apparently a perfectionist. So it's like, what do you mean my grades are this?
Assistant, I cannot be doing that with this kind of grade!
And as for Jalen, Jalen has a particular vested interest in the entire concept of abjuration. Because abjuration is basically, that shit is nasty, keep it away from me. And you're all about that.
Exactly.
Which is why y'all, for your variety of reasons, are on campus during the Oralmus break, which means you are occasionally bombarded by the local fairy dragons who are doing the fairy dragon jamboree thing. I don't know if you've encountered in your watching the fairy dragon jamboree, round about what we would refer to as the Christmas holidays. The local fairy dragons get a break from their respective shops and fly around the vicinity and offer jokes, songs, riddles, shopping advice in exchange for treats or small baubles for their hoard. It's supposed to make the holiday shopping nicer for all concerned. It's a great deal of fun, and those of you who are working in shops of some kind are probably rather amused when when your boss's fairy dragon companion comes in sort of flight limping under the weight of various bits and bobs that they've earned for their little hoard. It makes the whole process more fun for everybody, for the shoppers and for the people who have to deal with the shoppers, because shoppers who are more cheerful are less likely to be the kind of Karen asshole that we all think about when we think about Christmas shopping and Black Friday.
Yes.
In any case, coming back from your respective things I do and work at to earn my grant, notice board in the center of campus has a notice upon it, which states that towards the end of the Oralmus holidays, there is going to be an abjuration specialist who will be happy to tutor anyone who is particularly interested. They're only going to be they're only going to be on campus for about a week. But they are happy to work with anyone responsible, who is interested in the whole, abjuration thing or are having a difficult time. However, because this is such a unique opportunity, it's not a matter of first come, first serve. There's going to have to be some challenges involved to earn your place on the roster. I think Jalen and Natalie would be the ones most likely to recognize the abjuration specialist as one Twilla Quickflight. Apparently going by the maiden name. And yes, Natalie knows that one because she probably heard about it first, because she is friends with a terrible lot of the Quickflight cousins that work in and around the shopping district that she does.
Holy shit!
You also know that she is... Natalie knows that Twilla Quickflight is a very, very powerful wizard, and if you can get those last niggling bits of abjuration sorted in your head, maybe you'll have time to talk about other things.
Plan, this needs happening.
Jalen knows the name because not only has it, come up occasionally, the name Quickflight for Jalen means the Quickflight diminutives. About 40 years from there, they were a very, very well-regarded mercenary company, and they survived in the place you came back from longer than most. They're apparently retired now, but maybe if I got in on this, she might have had some ideas in the last 40 years.
Ideas are always nice to try and come by.
As for Ethelwyn, she's basically pointed at it and goes, "You're going for this, I assume. I assume you want to see the lab sometime." Yes.
Yes, I would like to continue using the lab, please.
Yes, in which case you're going to have to go and you're going to have to make very, very sure to get in on this particular opportunity. And Ethelwyn, because she is the one that so desperately needs help, is getting, find yourself the group. It will go better for you. Besides, you need to learn a little bit about teamwork. We saw what you did to the attempted assistant, or more what you said to them. You don't go around insulting your assistants, even if they are telling you what you don't want to hear. Mostly because if you hadn't taken away your little test subject, we would not have a lab pet anymore.
I think that's overstating it a bit, but yes, I will be careful around potential teammates.
Go find teammates first. Try not to alienate everyone. You must know some people. Go to the student union. Go talk to some people. Actually get out of the lab for once. Go socialize. It's literally shoving you out the door.
Well, if you insist.
Slam.
I'm in front of the board holding up what looks like a vastly oversized pocket watch.
Yeah, basically you get shoved out of the more practical forge building, which is this short, squat stone building with a roof that's largely plywood. At this point, it used to be a sturdier wood. Then you turned up. But that opens out directly onto the quad where the big notice board is. And yeah, you know, Natalie. Hey, look! The staff you made is still working. And yeah, there she is holding up the thing that apparently looks like an oversized pocket watch. And, I mean, Jalen can wander in whenever he wants.
Hi, Natalie.
Oh. Well, this hasn't exploded yet.
Of course it hasn't. I made sure that one was fully functional.
She said that about the last one, by the way.
That did 1.0 and now 2.0 and now 3.0. You said that too. So I am very still concerned about, well, what happens when I try to channel evocation through it and detonations start happening.
When you do channel the invocation through it, it will come out even better. You could have bought just a walking stick anywhere. You could have bought a casting rod anywhere, but that would be settling for less.
True. I mean, it's always better, but concerns happen when first one confetti, second one melt.
Yeah, you still have a couple of there's going to be scars on your hand for the rest of your life from when the handle had molten metal on your hand.
Putting away the pocket watch thing. Melts, pointing with the staff at the toast at the post toasty looking hands. Still a little guard.
Complicated process to get the runes in the right place.
I'm just going to say Jalen is watching this argument at this point.
Pretty much. Just in front of the notice board, just processing that Quick Flight is going to be here, and just listening to these two people just like, I'm so not in for this.
But at the same time, you probably know better than both of these two how much a group is helpful in a challenge. You've worked with a mercenary company, and they were all this annoying.
That's very fair. Fucking mercenary.
Everyone looks very pointedly between Natalie and the notice.
Fine.
You gonna talk to the aberration master?
Doi. If I didn't, there are things that one knows that I have to know. Quick Flight.
That name means nothing. Actually, no, wait. I tell a lie. Roll me a history check. You've kind of heard the name. I mean, it's been mentioned in Tavern Tales a few times, but mostly you know it in conjunction with Hearthheart. Apparently, there's you get a lot of your produce, or you got a lot of your produce in Black Crown from, the Golden Dale area, and Quick Flight and Hearthheart are names that are known there. So, wait a minute.
Aethelwyn nods, not looking terribly impressed.
You have no idea who that is, do you?
Oh, it says she's an aberration master, so I imagine that's what she is.
I'll have Natalie correct on this. Abjuration.
Abjuration. And a few other things that I need to talk to her about, mostly in the fields of manipulating reality on most basic levels.
You two, then? Turning to Natalie.
Yes.
Screwing up reality again.
Just because the first attempt at graviturgy didn't not work does not mean further ones will also.
So what you're saying is these things take multiple processes.
Often not as destructive ones, but yes.
I think Rappaturchi has the capability to be pretty destructive.
Anything can be destructive if it's powerful enough.
And a halfling, pattering by, stops long enough to go. She's kind of why the library was closed for about a week last month.
Thank you,
was
Professor.
That was you who did that.
That was it. That was a student, so you get a look like.
Oh.
Thank you.
See, I don't
Vague
spark
sylvan
things in the
grumbling.
library. I know what that experiments were long in the lab, where the walls are very sturdy and there are less flammable ancient texts.
It's fire. Grumble.
To be fair, you didn't use fire. What you actually did was, there was graviturgy, and the shelves kind of compacted.
Very nearly a book singularity.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you were kind of in the middle of it, and it took them about an hour to try to get you out without destroying the books.
It's no fire. It's just me in a pile for what, a day? I've used abjuration to have prevented the pile from completely collapsing, but not exactly best skill.
So, us three, abjuration, then.
You're one
Yeah,
of the kids
already
who
took
need
the
help,
notes.
don't you?
Looks like lots of challenges.
Yeah, there's other bits of paper on the notice board, and they do seem to be, it's, to be fair, in Egref you'd call them challenges because it's never as easy as it looks or sounds particularly in the academy. But it's all sort of chores that some people can take to do to supplement their grant money. But apparently these are also, from what you can tell from the notice, ways to impress people enough to earn the kind of favor that would get you a spot on Ms. Quickflight's very packed and limited schedule. Give me a perception check, because you all three are going to be looking for the most important one there. Likes 15s for you.
Pop you out into another window while I'm thinking about it.
Oh.
Oh shit! I gotta turn that off.
Well, I mean, it's the same roll either way, but let me show you. Let me look at your
that.
character sheet. Basically,
I thought that was turned off. Whoops.
well, it's not even showing on yours.
I'm impressed that was the same, but I was...
Okay, hang on.
I took care of mine. They've moved it to the side. It's on
Found
the
it.
right.
Oh, okay, yeah,
found the
and
problem.
now it's on normal, so we're good. We're good. So yeah, funnily enough, you did get the same roll, and because you're not the one. I mean, to be fair, you're probably older than these people by
a lot.
like a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's two humans and a wood elf. So. So you're the one that notices the notice that's quite new. And has been written a little hurriedly. So somebody probably thinks this is really important. It's basically asking you to report in to the Enchantment and Psionics Department head. Because there is an issue, and it needs to be resolved. Groups smaller than 3 need not apply.
Did not apply. Good to know.
Which, given your history, probably means either something got out, or there's some other issue that's going to require a slightly varied team and might actually involve combat. If that doesn't impress people, nothing will.
If you two really need to see this abjuration professor that badly, the enchantment and psionics team apparently needs some people.
Psionics? Did they do what's it say?
Well, it says that
Paul
anyone.
spindly self sees it better than I do.
Well, it says that anyone in a group 3 or smaller doesn't have to apply.
Well,
So we can
needs.
just walk right up there.
Well, what that actually means is if you're 1 or 2 people, you're not going to be enough.
Ah, that's more accurate.
Yeah, you're
3 is perfect.
well, 3 or more is necessary.
Necessary.
Now I'm actually looking at the thing if it's been pointed out to me.
Yeah, it requires some somewhat painful craning, but it does. I mean, it doesn't give any details. It just says you need to speak to the head of the Enchantment and Psionics Department.
Regardless of what you two do, I'm doing this anyway. It's a department I like, and I'm already headed in that direction.
You can catch up fairly easily. Her movement speed is only 20 feet.
I am fucking slow.
Well,
Does sound ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah. Everything is ominous if you grew up like I did. And I'm
Ellon
just walking.
gives her a shrug, goes after her.
Both of us going after Nathalie.
My hobbling ass and the cart I have for the books.
yeah, okay. I'm really sorry about this, but if you do have a cart,
Like one of those, like the instead of a backpack, it's one of those ones with the wheel, so that I don't snap my spine in half.
yeah, but okay. The quad is grass. I didn't know you had anything with wheels. The cart.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to ask you to make me a strength check.
Sure. I can run this.
He's very determined.
Oh
Yes.
my.
I like this department. Excuse you.
Yeah, determination, and it's not even so much I like this department, but also quick flight.
Oh yeah.
You're going
I
to
will master
you're-
dramaturgy if it kills me.
You're going to pay for this later, but
That's a problem for future you.
yeah, it becomes a problem for future you when you get to the doors of the Enchantments and Psionic building, which is actually one of the prettier buildings on campus because apart from the more telekinesis-based shit going on in the basement, a lot of this is more just enchantment spells. So not as much blows up. They have some place in the basement where you can practice chucking shit. But mostly it's just along the lines of some of the prettier buildings you see on the Path of Faith. So it's white marble and glass spires and other various pretty bits of... Pretty but weird, frankly. There's a delicacy and a twistiness to it that it's attractive, but it's also just a little weird.
shatter in the building's vicinity, that would be bad.
We only caught about half of that. Your mic is cutting some stuff off.
1, 2. I'm also never allowed to cast shatter in this building's vicinity. That would be terrible.
Yeah, basically.
Probably not.
So you enter the building and you wind up in front of, I mean, it's marble all the way through on the inside of the main reception area. It's, white marble floors, very pale gray marble desk, and sitting in a very tall, compared to them, chair, it's just so they could reach the top of the desk, gnome. Sort of youngish, so they're probably working off grant within the university, so that's something. They're one of those ones with the particularly odd hair color, so theirs is a shade of orange never before seen by man, or elf, or anything in between. And
Oh,
and with a very highly magnifying monocle, so you've got regular eye and boonk. This is apparently more of a fashion statement than anything else. Hello to you.
hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
How can I help you?
It did fall. Good.
Looking for the department head.
We need the head.
Looks at Natalie. Am I going to get a little bit more in the way of an explanation? Because if you want a head, you might want to be going into the necromancy department.
Thankfully they're...
He just asked for a head. What do you want from me?
Sorry, let me explain a little further. We need the department head for this building. We found there was a recent notice on the notice board asking us to see them about something, and the note was kind of vague.
For the quick flight abjuration tutoring stuff.
Oh, you mean you want to do the favor for the professor so that you can... Yeah, you see, if people just actually tell me what the things are, I can prioritize your request. One moment, please. I will see if the professor is available. Holds up a specialized sending stone, is muttering into it in Gnomish for a while, and then just... Oh. Okay. Yes, I will do that. Yes, okay. Well, you are welcome to go in now if you want to.
What is exploding?
Give me a persuasion check. I'm not making you roll an insight check for that shit. I'm probably wrecking the surprise just a little tiny bit, but Professor Turner has a guest who is probably has a vested interest in how this is going to go and how it is going to turn out. Leans very close to Natalie. Gestures for her to come forward and murmurs in her ear. You guys can make me a perception check if you want to see if you can hear this or not. No. Yes, Jalen hears this. Ethelwyn not so much, because Ethelwyn is like, can we just get on with this? But for Natalie and Jalen, currently Professor Turner is meeting with the governor. Whatever this is that is being called for is a bigger deal than we might think. So it's supposed to be a surprise, but that one does not deal very well with surprises, so I will leave it to you whether she needs to know. Anyway, you go, I will open up the elevator for you. You take it to the 5th floor, and it is the only office on that floor because it is in the center spire. You see.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Shit, Tony, could one of you take? I'm just offering the backpack.
Wheelie backpack.
I guess handle.
Yes.
Mm.
Which point the gnome is going, those analgesic mints that the individual over in alchemy and herbalism does. I have some of those if you want.
Godsend, please.
So takes out basically looks like a packet of Tic Tacs, taps out a couple and hands them to Natalie. That'll help for a couple hours. But it is they are aggressively minty.
I'm pointing at the elevator.
Yeah, the elevator is not overly fast, partially because it also appears to have been made largely of marble, and still no one has explained how they did that. Ellon is probably the only one who cares.
He's just looking around a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, unlike the glass one in the Shrine of Pelor, you can't see the workings. And while you're riding up, are you going to share your knowledge, Natalie or Jalen?
So, Governor is up.
Wait, what about the governor?
The governor is in with department head. We are going to be walking in potentially on middle of observation of person here before us, if anyone even got here before us.
Oh. Huh.
Or maybe updating governor on what may or may not have gotten loose, or
Sounds
melted
very ominous.
down, or otherwise caused temporary havoc.
Bing.
So,
Swoop. Doors
be
open.
prepared for questions abound.
Yes. The doors of the elevator, while Natalie is saying, "Be prepared for questions," opens out onto the smallest little anteroom, which is in sort of deep forest green wallpaper and dark wood paneling, and a set of double doors in the same dark wood, probably mahogany. Ellon is probably the only one of you who actually, well, no, if Ellon would know, Ellon does do some woodworking, so it's good quality mahogany, mind you.
All I can look by.
We did not hear that. Your mic is going a bit.
Jesus, still doing that? All I care about is bookbinding.
Yes, so
Books.
yeah, you step out of the elevator into room that barely fits the three of you.
Before we go in, or then deliberating clearly.
Hope you're not going to turn around now, Natalie.
No. I did one thing to. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to announce here because, well, interrupting meeting by just walking in is
I would knock on
not
the door.
best plan.
At which point the door opens and you guys, Ellon may have seen the governor from a distance. The other two of you have not. What you have is a individual of indeterminate gender with very, very mad hair, almost as orangey red as the gnome downstairs. A narrowish face and manic if engaging grin. Oh, hello! Hello to you!
Hello.
Are you in for the are you in for the mission?
Yes.
Professor Turner wants to speak to you if you're here for the mission. If not, you should probably go away.
We are
I
here
was here
for
for
the
the
mission.
challenges, yes.
Donation.
Okay then. I am Calatel. Wonderful to meet you. In you go. In. And opens the doors.
Right.
Kind of, just kind of like in shock / reverence, very slowly walking past.
Yes, the desk in the middle of this room is a lot more modest than you'd think from the rest of the decor. It's just a little desk. Thing is that the room only seems small to accommodate the desk because everything else is bookshelves. It's like a secondary adjunct to the library in here, so there's about room for you guys to stand in front of the desk. There's 2 chairs, so there's not enough space for all of you to sit. But mostly it's bookshelves, and desk is covered in paper except for one corner, which has a tiny, tiny cactus. Sitting at this desk is Professor Turner. Natalie knows Professor Turner, given she's dealt with the enchantment and psionics department before. This is a half-elf, probably along the high-elf lines in parentage somewhere or other. Getting on in age, off brown hair with some white streaks in it, sort of half glasses, and sort of homely for half elves who normally trend a little bit into elvish pretty, but the features kind of went into the slightly too sharp. So, mostly what you get the impression of is ears, cheekbones, and that kind of horsey face.
Hey, Professor?
I am not surprised that it was you. I am also not entirely surprised that it was you. Mr. Riker, you I'm a little bit more surprised at.
Really?
No, it is Miss Risold that I am a little bit more surprised at. I did not...
Happy to be of help.
Since when? At which point,
Since-
Calichel is going, perhaps since they said that if she did not pass abjuration, they would not be letting her into the labs anymore.
Ellon does a double take over her shoulder.
I pay attention. I like to be informed about the talent that is going on. Besides, I do have to keep at least some track of some of the repair bills. I mean, the grant that you are here under is called the Calitel grant. So, I do have to pay attention to these kind of things.
Yes, thank you, Governor.
I will let Professor Turner explain to you the duties involved here, and I will watch, because this is fascinating. I will want to ask you all some questions afterwards, but... And I probably should ask you now, in case you don't survive. Governor, please. Professor...
That is for science.
Professor Turner gestures to one of the 2 little chairs in front of her desk, is going, please, Natalie, sit down.
Stump.
Yeah, to let you know that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, because after all this walking on top of, I just gave out.
Yeah, but landing that hard, slamming your back into the back of the chair, that's going to hurt. So it's boomf! Ow!
Just.
If you hadn't taken the analgesic mints, you would be in some significant problems right about now. We'll give her a moment to catch her breath. You okay? Okay. So, Professor Beebles We have not heard from him in a while. He has one of the labs downstairs. And he's been on some of his own projects lately. And so, of course, we were a little bit worried about him because we did not see that he was leaving his laboratory at all. So we had one of his teaching assistants go in and try to bring him a sandwich or something, and he did not go in when he saw that there was no one in the lab, despite no one had come out of it, because we did not want to, well, he did not want to touch evidence. But, he was nowhere to be found. And no one had seen him leave. Now, we don't know what he's done in there, because, well, you know what this place is like. So, what we want is for you to, or whoever actually wants to take this job to do, is to investigate his lab, see if there's any clue as to what he's been doing, what he's been working on, any way he might have got out of there that we did not see, that did not involve turning him into a puff of dust, because we did not hear a boom, and there did not look to be any evidence that he blew himself up. But then again, sometimes it's not that messy. I suppose he could have disintegrated, but we didn't see a pile of dust anywhere. But we didn't look very hard. So, I mean, we don't send in teaching assistants who are just trying to bring a poor man a sandwich. And,
Nice.
It is very
and
curious.
And if you find out how he went, if he went, see where he went. And, you know, if there's anything particularly dangerous roaming around that maybe ate him, we don't know, deal with it.
Do I, out of curiosity, do I recognize anything about Professor Beebles specifically, or any projects that I might remember from just being in the building and being in the TK rooms?
Give me a straight up intelligence check. It's because while you like the psionics, it's been a little while, so
6. Been a long while.
yeah, he was one of those ones that you dealt with the first time. Your very first semester here, and mostly he was giving you reading assignments and getting his TAs to grade your papers while he was writing notes about something else. He very much did not have his mind on the teaching elements of this.
Heck.
Vec?
Just trying to recall what his project may or may not have been. But last time I was here, I barely even spoke to him. Knew all TAs and papers and reading assignments, nothing actually useful.
Well,
Until I got to the formula for mental communications.
well, yes, he does have a tendency to, and he a lot of his work is on the more, advanced, elements of mental communications. And he insisted on taking all of the, introductory courses so that he would not have too much of his brain power taken away from his projects.
Ellon nods very
Fascinating.
understandingly.
Yes, of course he would understand these.
Be teaching. Grousing about that and just veering off into Sylvan again.
At which point you do have the governor turning around to you and going, "It is very, in Sylvan, it is very important to have the grounding in the theory of this, and sometimes you need to remind yourself of the theory through introductory courses."
And still in
Pats her
Sylvan.
on the head.
It is very wise and very correct. Thank you.
So, it turns around in common this time and looks at Ethelwyn and says, "So you are the smithing prodigy who has ensured that we had to redo the forge building 6 times this year.
I'm
We're
not
on
sure if it
6
was
already.
6. I think that might be counting incidents that were not quite as dramatic as it might sound when you describe it as 6.
We say redo. It does not necessarily mean entirely rebuild. We had to replace just about every bit of furniture in the workshop you were using twice. We did the roof 3 times, but at least one of those was attached to the replacing of all the furniture. There was that incident with you attempting weapons that move on their own, which involved having to re-wallpaper the entire interior.
You see, I feel like the furniture and the wallpaper is is a much smaller matter.
But it's redoing.
Respectfully.
It. You two are listening to her talk to the governor of the fucking province this way.
Am I within reach of everyone's shins with my cane?
Yes, because this is a very small space.
Reach over and just whack!
Ow!
Governor of entire province!
I apologize for the amount of times that the forge has had to be redone.
No, you don't.
Well, I hope to repay it with the results of a significant amount of research and experiment sometime in the future.
Once you are done on whatever quest you are after. Okay.
Yes.
We will work on that. However, I have to ask, is the reason that you are in with these people so that you can actually learn how to talk to people without offending them terribly? Because if so, you have not learned very much yet.
It is only the first day and hour.
But you are... this is because this is a theory thing. If you think of it as more of a practical thing, you might actually get it done. Or you might make one of them explode. Either way, it's very interesting.
I will try very hard to keep them both in one piece.
Looks at Jalen. I know that this is probably difficult, but they do have potential. Possibly not let them die.
Ellon just kind of pauses before. Well, I will do my best.
Your god is probably not wanting to have to deal with them, so look at it that way.
I don't think he wants to deal with them either. No.
So there you go. You're doing him a service by not sending them to him to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting a look. Just a what the shit expression?
Looks at and then the governor looks at Natalie. I tell you what. If you do this particularly well, you and I can have lunch. I know some things.
Governor, the motivation has doubled.
Professor Turner is just... Thank you, Governor. I don't think they entirely needed it, but I personally don't want your Professor Beetle's experiments or the ghost of Professor Beetle's or something like that to be wandering around the place. It would be hard to send new students in. Plus, not to mention the ones who are more involved in necromancy would probably be haunting the place, not so literally, to deal with the one who is haunting the place literally, and there would be very much doing the speak with dead. Governor, they really do need to. Oh, yes, no, of course. Sorry about that. I get very interested in this kind of thing. I will have to wait here and see what the results are. This is a riddle. I love riddles.
This is a riddle.
Well, it's a mystery. Mysteries are just riddles without so many in the way of words.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
he is-
Professor Turner,
Yes, Professor Beetle's lab is in the basement. You'll have to go through the psionics training range. It's the last door on the left. Try not to blow anything up.
Can't make 100% assurances, but will do my best.
I did say try. Oh, and
And I'm going to attempt to stand up.
yes, and you have the cane. You just it's cane in one hand, armrest of the chair in the other, and push.
Up.
One of you is going to need this. Holds out a chunk of opal carved into a really weird geometric design. It's a key without the keyhole, but one of you has to be carrying it to be able to get in without the alarms going off. Natalie and Ethelwyn both know what happens if you walk into a professor's room without that kind of permission. The response entirely depends on the professor. For Ethelwyn, her hair was a particularly viney shade of green for about a month.
What happened to my spindly ass?
Well, Natalie's book bag started growing mushrooms. So did her books.
See, were those at least mushrooms that could be handed off to certain food places as supply? Because I would have been very pissed about the books, but
honestly, you were mostly tracked by alchemy students because apparently the spores from them were either hallucinogenic, poisonous, or both. There was a minor issue with various of the campus wildlife was either dying or tripping balls every time you passed by.
Welcome to why I eventually learned to cast darkness in the vicinity after getting bombarded for the 44th time by an alchemist student demanding the mushrooms.
Yeah, Jalen has no idea what she's talking about with the mushrooms, although he does remember a certain amount of talk about that one dragging the mushroom bag.
And I believe the best person to be handling the anti-security would be you. So
sounds about right. Just reaches a hand out for the opal.
Yeah, she was waiting for somebody. She was holding it out, waiting for somebody to take it.
Cool. Mine.
Plus, well, it's better to trust it to someone who won't collapse.
Yes, just make sure that you're the only one who is touching door handles, or that particular door handle.
Noted.
Because if either of these do, if I recall correctly, Professor Beetle's defenses involve you thinking you are a carnival dancing bear for about 2 hours.
Nope. That would be extremely painful. Nope.
All right, neither of you are allowed to handle the doors. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, good luck, happy investigating, try not to die, and any additional payment beyond the putting in a good word about you to the people arranging the Professor Quickflight's schedule will be commensurate on what it is you have to be doing, so you might end up also getting paid.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ethelwyn, I can see going, oh good, more money to start building up my armor properly. And we never did say where you worked.
Oh, don't know. Somewhere where she's hopefully helping out with her hands, doing something productive.
This is Egref. That would be just about everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably basically doing the rounds because she wants to see as many moving parts and ways to work with metal as possible. Probably just working with a local tinker repair individual. So has just been all over the place in various different shops. And Jalen's easy. He can just work at the local Temple of Nerul.
Mm-hmm.
And Natalie has the bookshop.
Which I keep borrowing various bits of the the high tier Arcana section from whenever I'm on break.
Yep. So, yes, down to the basement.
Down to the basement.
And yeah, it's a lot less pretty down here. It's stone and really nothing much in the way of decoration. And apart from a little sort of side alley by which you can get to various offices, including Professor Beetle's at the back, mostly what you're hearing is flying objects occasionally hitting walls.
Aetha one put on her breastplate and thunder gauntlets while they were in the elevator.
She was carrying that shit around? How?
In her backpack, unless you think the breastplate is too big.
You didn't even mention carrying a backpack.
That's true.
So, if anybody wants to stop and pick up armor, because none of you mentioned wearing any. I know why Natalie didn't, because Natalie's just, let's go!
Yeah.
I have my own ways of self-protection. They are not...
Well, yeah,
Flanky.
that's the thing. You're not even thinking about it. It's just, let's go, and you two are going. If there's going to be something to...
We'll prepare first.
You with the suit.
Mm-hmm.
In that
Robes, but yeah.
I have been wanting to test this a bit more.
It's solid opportunity, so let's go get you your suit.
Yes.
So long as nothing else decides that it needs to put all of its weight on me.
Maybe you should leave some of those books back in your room.
Good idea.
Fine, I have notation device. I have spell book as one, so whatever. Do that just this once. Plus, I've memorized the entirety of the. They're for reference. I already read those 4 times each. It is perfectly logged.
Good.
And you don't need the books then.
I need them to point out facts within them to other people. Not everyone believes that I have memorized this shit. You want to test me?
I would rather not. We kind of have a mission to get through.
Yes, we do.
Lead on.
Okay, so
Help.
you two get your various bits of armor on. So the bits that are written on your character sheet as your armored and ready to go selves are thing. And yes, back down into the basement where mostly what you get is it looks a little like a shooting range, except the problem is there aren't actually any dividers along the various lanes. Apparently somebody, quite possibly the halfling instructor who's trying to get them to aim things correctly, has decided that the best way of learning to focus really hard on where your shit is supposed to go, is by having the risk of somebody else beating you in the head.
Remember these.
Yes, given
This was fun.
Jalen's look is just getting. It also helps to teach them how to still focus on a battlefield.
And no, give him that. That's. No.
Yeah, and I take it you're not here for a refresher course.
No, we're looking for a professor.
Beatles, the
Oh,
missing.
oh, you know.
debacle.
Oh, good. Okay, fine. Yes, that saves any of us from having to do it. I'm sorry. I think he's a bit of a weirdo. Maybe was a little bit of a weirdo. I don't know if he's still alive.
Or at
Oh,
least
we'll
he's
find out.
somewhere.
I mean, I don't wish death on him. I don't think that weirdo is an offense punishable by death. But I don't want to have to go look for him. It means I might actually have to listen to him for more than 2 minutes.
Fair enough.
The whole idea of security for him is a mental state of dancing bear for entirely too long, and my limbs would be not on my body anymore if we did that. So
I mean, I have the office next door to his. He is not the best of neighbors.
that sounds alarming, and like the experience that I would not wish on anyone.
He yells a great deal, and he's been quiet the last few days before anybody actually noticed he was missing, so maybe he's been missing that long, I don't know. But
What was he yelling about exactly?
honestly, I didn't hear that much. There is some soundproofing. I just know that he was... some of it sounded frustrated, and then some of it sounded jubilant, and then some of it sounded a little bit like, what the fuck is this?
There is reason for soundproofing. It's because of what was the one that was refresher course? His explosion, thunder, name of spell shatter.
Yes, that's... We do occasionally have we do occasionally have that training down here, just because if you try to do it up there, you break like 18 different windows. Yes, also, if you do find him, would you please kick him between the legs for me, because he's not supposed to have pets down here.
Would
Certainly.
this advice
Yes,
hold it
fine.
up to-
Yes, fine. And if he had to have pets, you should not be letting them out. I don't care if he's supposed to, if he knows he's
what
going
kind
missing.
of-
I
What
don't.
kind of pet?
I assume some kind of rodent, because they're in there and they're eating my books.
Huh.
Thing?
Weird.
There are nibble marks. It's frustrating.
Book. Full.
Oh.
You're breaking up, by the way, Smeagol.
Chewing on the books. That's delightful.
Yes,
We
well,
will keep an eye out for any rodents.
Mm-hmm.
thank you. At which point, you've clearly impressed him enough to just be, hold fire! Pause, and then just smash as a bit of pottery hits a wall. You weren't even supposed to be flinging that, Maddie. Very small, red-haired halfling going, I already had it up. You could have put it down again. This is my first time in this class. Putting it down again gently would have been a bit of a problem. You'll learn control, Maddie. Yes, sir.
I'm going to pat that one on the head as I pass by. Good shot.
At least I got it in the aiming. I mean, honestly, I'm just doing this to actually understand what goes on around here. My family runs the information kiosk, so I'm
Oh.
probably going to be working with them. So I should probably know what to tell people to avoid.
And the ability to move things around with one's head will also allow you to pull up any sort of mapping or reference without even moving from kiosk, which will probably be helpful
That's
in the long run.
That's probably very true. Thank you. I thought of it that way.
If you manage to get into class for it, find a way to learn unseen servant spells. Very, very useful. Don't trick is entirely ritual based. No draining self.
You two notice the instructor glaring at Natalie's back as he goes by and says, "Stop distracting my students."
Natalie,
Coming.
And yeah, it's plain, very solid metal, in this case, doors. And you, most of them do have little name plaques next to them. The one for Professor Beetles is apparently missing.
Well,
But you were told
door
which
key.
door, so, yep. Jalen has the door key.
check 1212.
Well, he's moving.
Hey,
Just put a knock on the door.
No response. Actually, make me a perception check. All three of y'all.
boy.
I'm gonna make a small running tally of number of times I've reached to pick up my physical dice. Wonderful.
Oh, this is funny.
Oh, to be fair, your hearing is fairly astute, and you're more used to paying attention to things hitting things. So you're mostly paying attention to the telekinesis resuming behind you, and it's like, should I be ducking? And that's basically all you're hearing. Natalie and Ethelwyn aren't 100% sure, but there might be a sound over all that sounds a bit skitter, but you're not sure. Mostly because, again, there's shit hitting the wall behind you.
Something's scrabbling about. Just a skittering noise. Anyone else
Sounds
hear that?
sounds like he had more than one rodent that got loose.
Multiples. Oh, what wonderful news.
But beyond that, there's no response to the knock.
Put my hand on the
Honestly,
door.
open door at this point. Open the door at this point. There is no reason to
I'll just
hold
pause
back.
for a second. I pause for a second with my hand on the doorknob just to see if anything happens.
No, you have the key in your pocket. You're good.
Just push the door open.
Yeah, the office that you find yourself in is, for Natalie in particular, it does not look like the kind of office you normally find on this floor. Normally, it's, very little in the way of furniture, usually low bookshelves, nothing, usually bolted to the floor, nothing that's easy to fling around. This one, floor-to-ceiling shelves. They appear to be bookshelves. I mean, you see the spines of various books all across. There's a rug. There's a desk that's not bolted to the floor because it's standing on the rug.
You know, I'm
Fairly
slightly jealous.
slightly cushy, fairly plush and cushy chair. Towards the back of the room, there's a painting landscape of what you assume is Aembach because it's mostly snow. And if you look very closely, that's a moose. That's a white moose. Next to the person by it, it's a very large white moose.
That is an alarming amount of moose.
But yeah, it's a... To be fair, you know that this is a department head-worthy office from the looks of it. And Beetles was not a department head. Natalie in particular knows this.
How in the blood-soaked eighth hell would they have? Would Beatles have gotten all this? This is department head level of office cushiness, and Beatles was not the department head. Not even in the slightest.
I see.
Also,
His
none of
friends
this
with the
is
right
bolted. All of this should have been bolted.
Eighth one goes. Yeah, eighth one goes inside.
Yep.
Just all of us slowly going in.
Yeah, it's you have your cushy office.
All right,
What
she'll
are-
start going through his desk.
Investigation check. You're finding an awful lot of various bits of paperwork, which you're assuming are, test papers and that kind of thing. The ones you can read are definitely, exam papers, project notes for other people's stuff, because they're obviously graded. There is one locked drawer down at the bottom of the desk. But beyond that, most of what you're finding are a lot of notes in a language you cannot read. And probably do not even recognize.
Huh.
Most of those are scraps.
She will hold that out to whoever takes it as she's still looking downwards.
I'm going to shuffle over, take those.
Yeah, you can't
then
read them either.
And then Aethelwyn will get at her thieves' tools for the locked thing.
Okay. Thieves' tools, you just click on.
Oof.
Okay, can you make me a wisdom saving throw, please? You do get the lock open, but now you cannot move.
Like completely just frozen in place.
Uh-huh.
Ethelwyn,
What
hello.
do
Not moving.
Can she make noises?
Nope. That would involve mouth opening.
It's true.
Oh dear. Paralytic spell work. Old person just nudging in the shoulder with the cane.
Nope.
Shit.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, that roll sucked.
Yeah, if I wanted to identify, it would take very, very long. You know what? We have a while, and that seems to have been only traps far. So I'm going to take a bit and make sure I can translate this. Gonna set the how many papers is this worth? The notes and the stuff I can't understand.
Basically, Aethelwyn handed you a handful of scraps. It's a couple of dozen little bits of raggedy
So, like,
bits of. It's like
a
if
sheet, a pretty hefty one.
no, it's more like somebody tore out a chunk of notebook paper that they've been scribbling things on and tucked them away somewhere.
Right. Okay, I'm going to make sure I can analyze this stuff. And I'm going to start ritual casting. Comprehend languages. Basically just tap the staff so that it stays balanced. And then
Okay.
Spend the required duration, just hoping that Aethelwyn maybe unfreezes partway through it.
About halfway through, Ethelwyn, who does need the loo rather badly by the time this is all over, finally unfreezes.
Ah,
Good heavens.
Come back.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
You sure about that? You were just frozen for a
About 5
good
minutes.
minute.
5
Good
minutes
several
in that
minutes
case.
there.
Ethelwyn leans back up to stretch with a lot of crackling.
Welcome to my daily life, by the way.
Yes, I think. I hope this is worth it. And she
Oh, it will
opens
be.
the drawer.
What you find within the drawer is it's a jumble of bottles and little tiny half globes of metal with little bits sticking out of them attached to yet others. It's a really odd sort of thing that it's basically it's like half globes of metal about that big connected to bunches of odd wires that don't look quite smooth, so you're not really sure what's up with them just on a casual look, that are all linked into each other and wind up in this sort of braid of wire that apparently attaches to something at the end. There's a good 25, 30 of these little half domes of.
Alright, she'll take that out and set it on the desk so she can get a better look. Start poking at it.
Just looking over the bottles. Would I by chance recognize any of what's in the bottles? Or is this all foreign to me?
I have a quick look at your character sheet just to have a quick look at what you might recognize. No, I don't. It's not. It's certainly nothing medicinal.
Well, I can say for certain this shit isn't used for, like, healing somebody to death, so...
Healing somebody to death? Sorry.
Either you two recognize what's in these things?
Well, Natalie is doing ritual shit. Still.
Aethelwyn's also occupied poking at the mysterious object.
You give me an investigation check. Yeah, you have to pull out various of your little magnifying tools or ask somebody else for some, but there are very small runes etched onto those individual the individual wires, and part of it isn't as much wire as it is tube. And if you're looking into each of those little half globes, you'll see that there's little tiny needles on the inside of each.
Definitely a magical device of some sort. I think it maybe some kind of liquid goes through these. But is there liquid in the bottles?
Well, there is liquid in the bottles, but even with that rule, you couldn't necessarily tell which of those liquids went into which, or if it was just experimenting, or you don't know. While everybody's poking around at those various bits and pieces, Natalie comes up with a lot of these are more arcane sigils, so they don't really translate, but there are a few concepts that are coming through that, I mean, first of all, they're not in the same handwriting as the other thing. And, I mean, some of it is, and it seems to read something about, hive mind, shared group consciousness, pack tactics, swarm. But beyond that, a lot of it is arcane sigils, and what you can only guess is measurements, because a lot of it is numbers that don't really make sense. A lot of this isn't in your line of expertise. Make me a... Let me have a quick look and see what I can ask you to roll for this. Oh, you're on bio for some reason. Yeah, make me a nature check.
D1.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard a lot about this in your foundation classes, because while most people just have a regular name in like common or whatever the language is for various animals, the people who do classifications of animal groups, taxonomy, give them specialized names in very, very old, what you think is probably a predecessor of common, but you're not entirely sure. The one little scrawl you find, half cut off by how the paper tore, looks like the name they gave to classify rats.
Alright. Hold it on.
Yes, Natalie?
So, lots of arcane nonsense here that is Beatles is nonsense, so I can't translate that. But what I can translate so far is hive mind and rats of some description. Don't know the specific kind because I'm missing about half of that word. As well as... Sorry, DM, quick refresher. I got mine. And what am I missing out of that? Hive mind.
It's all about the same thing. From given your intelligence score, what you're getting the impression of is that this individual was working on group consciousness, or a way of sharing thoughts, maybe to help with pack tactics or instill them into groups. And rats, you know perfectly well, are usually fairly useful as test subjects.
Was doing lots of groupthink experimentation, fitting for someone in Psycho Division, right? Lots of mind linking ideas here, and how to instill that into usually individuals. Rats, fittingly, I mean, they are individuals, yes, but they also are extremely social and would take probably pretty easily to mental linkages.
Makes a lot of sense.
Running from that, would say also test subjects, common, so
You
probably linked a bunch of rats together, best guess. And that went uniquely sideways.
It is pointing in that direction. Aethelwyn looks at the device, kind of holding it around to see if it would theoretically go atop of someone's head.
It's probably about the right size for rat heads. And Hand of Fate says that while Natalie can't read the language, the bits in the words in the languages she could read were undercommon. Yeah, the stuff that wasn't in Professor Beetle's handwriting.
Undercommon.
Well, no, it's only Natalie that knows that, and Natalie, make me an Arcana check. If this fails, I'm going to laugh so hard.
18.
Just about enough. Hive mind, groupthink, undercommon, illithids?
Oh.
What?
Find something.
So if this if Beetle was talking to what I think he was talking to, is bad news all around. He was getting notes on mind linkage from, at the very least, an illithid.
You both know what an illithid is.
How could he have made contact with an illithid from his office in Egref?
In a basement, Natalie, you've lived here all your life. In an office, in a basement, next to a cliff. That you know has tunnels that connect eventually to the Underdark.
You both might not have lived here long enough to know this, but one, we're in a basement. Two, this basement is next to a series of tunnels, all of which are on the side of a cliff, a land full of mines that eventually lead down into the Underdark. To say nothing of the fact that this is the psychic. This is the psionics division building.
Okay. That is fair. That is very fair.
Brain power is everything.
For Jalen, okay. But it can't be quite that close, so there must be a tunnel somewhere in this office. Yeah, I had a feeling, so...
in this office. And so both of you kind of just see Jalen start, like, looking around across the floor for something.
There's a carpet. You don't. To be fair, you're old enough. You're wise enough. You're experienced enough. Natalie was talking about the fact that none of the other offices in this department were plush enough to have this kind of thing. You'd think, why would you have a carpet? No place else in this basement has carpet. Why does this have carpet? You'd need to move the desk, but...
Is there, like, a space under the desk where I could possibly see, like, the carpet?
No, the carpet extends beyond the desk. To move the carpet out of your way, you'd have to move the desk to somewhere.
Okay, so... idea... Is it possible, if there was a lithid contact, that there is a trapdoor in this room somewhere?
That is a good
Maybe
thought.
one directly to the tunnels into the Underdark, perhaps?
Look down to where I've been sort of sitting with my ritual. Pick up my projector, pick up my staff, scramble up all the papers, just back up.
I mean, why... Why else would this one room have carpet and nothing else in the basement has anything?
Because
To be fair, there is
tunnel
to be
straight
fair, there is
down.
for Natalie. There's one other thing that this office has that no other office in this department does. That big ass painting.
Also, and I'm just going to take the staff the stick the walking stick staff rod that I'm just going to point at this painting. Also, poke that.
Ellon goes up to remove the painting.
Ruin the painting.
Who in their right mind in a psionics building leaves painting of Gigamoose?
Yeah. Can Ethelwyn please make me a dexterity saving throw?
Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah, okay, so... That would be... Well, it could be worse. It's 2 piercing damage as a swarm of bats flies out from behind the painting, apparently disturbed by the fact that all of a sudden there's light. And, yeah, so office is now full of swarm of bats.
Please, God.
Given that we've been at this for like a couple of hours now and we haven't taken a break yet, we will take 5 minutes and then we will roll initiative. And we're back, currently being swarmed by at least a singular swarm of bats. We don't have a map for this, so we'll just kind of let's see what we can do about this.
Also, image I just plonked into this chat is, at least for hairstyle, roughly what we're looking at for that.
Christ, that's my old haircut. Well, it is.
You just didn't have the anime ahoge.
No, it's probably just as well I didn't. I'd probably look absolutely ridiculous. Don't do Master Essentials. That should help. Or apparently not. Why are you not giving me bats? Ah, bat. Bat.
Alright, we have that.
We do, and we have basically Ethelwyn being swarmed by the bats. Natalie's probably about there. We don't have an image for Natalie at the moment. No, I didn't mean to open that. I meant to put... No. There. That's better.
There we go.
That's much better.
It is compressed, but it works.
Yeah, and let's draw at least some boundaries to this room. Because it's a moderately big room, but the space you have that's not given to bookshelves is about this. Bink.
Bink.
So, I would like y'all to roll me some initiative. Oh, Christ.
In increasingly terrible order.
How the bats go before the mercenary, I have no idea. Oh, it makes sense that Ethelwyn goes first just because they're in her hair right now.
yeah.
Okay, Ethelwyn.
Ellon theoretically composes herself enough to start. Yeah, she does compose herself enough to start swinging.
Yeah, roll
Hopefully.
damage.
Swat. Swat, 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 whap!
I need to add a damage type. And then with the other gauntlet. Oof.
Yeah, I don't think I needed to roll initiative. I would roll damage.
Well, she's happy to show off the thunder gauntlets.
Let's see, that's 11. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount of boom and things shake, and it's probably some of the pressure is probably hurting Natalie a little bit, because one thing you'll find is that discomfort. There is no discomfort anymore. It's just levels of pain. But she does manage to. I mean, it's the challenge rating of a swarm of bats is a quarter, so it really was just boom, boom, and a lot of dead bats.
Just flail swatting.
Yeah, a little scratch on her cheek, bleeding from, but it's only like 2 points, so yeah. Bye bye bats. No, can I?
Oh! That was...
Are these impressive or what?
That
Yeah, I'm sorry, but when you do that,
you good over there?
This now swearing went from common to Sylvan into halfling.
Sorry. Natalie.
halfling is a very, very satisfying language to swear in.
Because I went from almost from halfway to standing to folded over. Just
Yeah, generally speaking, clutching the handle of the walking stick, doubled over it, just like shit. But eventually you take a breath, compose yourself, and make a mental note to get the name of whatever student is making those analgesic mints.
Mm-hmm.
I am stealing the entire mint canister.
Everyone looks down the passage.
Yeah, what you have is a 4 foot by 6 foot hole
In the wall.
in the wall.
And this probably goes just directly into cliffside.
Wow.
Imagine.
We should take a... Hold that thought. She goes back to the desk and looks for a pen and paper with enough space to write a message on.
Well, it's more pencil because they haven't quite got to ballpoints yet. But you can find a graphite pencil and some scrap paper lying around. You kind of have to weed a little bit until you find one that's not covered by the bits of exploded bat.
Ethelwyn will scribble down a quick note to explain that they went down a mysterious passage, likely leading into the Underdark, and leave that in a prominent place in the center of the desk.
so I'm going to turn towards the direction of the firing range and cast message at the instructor that was there.
Mm-hmm.
We found a literal hole in Peebles' wall and possibly floor. Might lead to Underdark. Going to investigate.
I hope you counted words for that. That doesn't really matter. It's short enough.
Hole in wall. Going to yeah. That was rough. That
One
was
or two
roughly
words. Fuck.
like 18.
You're good. You're good. And as a response, you get... Okay, I will call security just in case.
Think
Ethelwyn Ship's
Oh,
back
message doesn't have a word limit.
Yeah, and you can reply to this message, but is it still okay? I will call security just in case, but we will watch out for you, sort of.
So
Further, just message response with a thank you, and I'm gonna repeat the message to fifth floor if I can. Department. Do I if I have the range? I believe range is 120 feet. Not enough.
From the basement, no, they're fairly high ceilings in this
Right.
spot.
Yeah, that I go to ping,
But
get nothing.
yeah, but it's better than because you saw Ethelwyn write this down and just be like, "We're the ones who have the key. How are they gonna? What are you doing?"
Yeah, that was sort of my logic for pinging someone else as a heads up.
Yep.
all right.
Oh.
So if we see an illithid, we turn around and go back. But otherwise, let's
Not interact with the Aethelid.
yes.
Got it.
Otherwise, let's go find Professor Beetles.
Okay. In what order are you
Yeah.
crawling into the mysterious hole?
I think the one's going first.
You want to go, or should I be in the middle?
You probably should be in center. One moment, I have to sort out preparation.
And
Going
Ethelwyn's
to-
already crawling, so
Going to tap self in the chest with the walking stick and hit myself with mage armor.
okay.
And then we go.
Yeah. And I think it's only Jalen who can see worth shit.
Probably.
So
Ethelwyn takes out a little crystal of some sort. Oh, magic tinkering object which sheds bright light, 5-foot radius, dim light, additional 5 feet.
okay,
Alright.
it's gonna
You
slow.
made an artifice candle.
You're gonna slow down your crawling a little bit because you're having to hold it up. Give me a perception check. After crawling for about 200 yards, because you're looking ahead, you don't really notice the quality of the light changing somewhat until you crawl forward and make me a dex save. Manage not to fall down the gap that has just opened up in front of you. Nearly, because your hand slips off it and you're about to tip over, so the light in front of you two fades a little bit as Ethelwyn uses the hand she's using to hold that to keep herself from falling off.
So there's just a hole in the passage, otherwise.
Yeah,
continuing
well,
forward.
it's about, well, that's the thing. It's more that now that you're looking, it's more that the passage opens out rather than just being a crawl through hole. It's become more of a passage that an average sized person can walk in.
Yeah, and then she will carefully clamber out so she can stand up normally and then hold the light there so nobody else goes headfirst downwards.
Oh. Jay comes across and just is keeping an eye out on Nathalie to make sure they don't slip up into the hole.
Yeah, and she's actually got it a little bit better because she can feel downward with the walking stick and sort of slide down from there. She's moderately dexterous. She just doesn't have the pain tolerance to lift much. Yeah, the tunnels here are rough-hewn, but there's enough of a tunnel-ish shape to them to suggest that they've been carved by something moderately intelligent. Beyond that, you'd need to make me an investigation check just to feel along the walls. I mean, assuming anyone wants to. If they don't, that's fine.
I definitely want to at least poke the construction.
Yeah. We'll do some digging around as well.
Yeah, investigation check, just feeling along the walls. Yeah, both of you notice in a way that Ms. Thunder Gauntlets over there probably wouldn't anyway, is that, yeah, this has been done by something intelligent, but not necessarily something human. The reason that it's so rough and yet still keeping a shape like that is that it seems to have been not pickaxed or dug, but gnawed.
This was eaten at. Literally.
That's a little
Oh.
concerning.
I
Yes.
can think of a couple of things that would be down deep enough for that.
Given those rolls, it's been gnawed by a lot of small things.
Not by rats,
It was-
possibly.
What, like the rat, like an entire gaggle of rats at absolute minimum?
Possibly.
Probably, because the only other thing I can think of is purple worm, and one of those would be a lot
Yeah, it's
noisier, bigger,
Mm-hmm.
more teeth.
More things.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for purple worms also, and not get any closer to those, if at all possible.
Not get closer on the purple worms. Oh boy.
Natalie, being the studious one, is probably going. You don't really have much of an option to get close to purple worms if a purple worm bursts out from under the earth to devour you from beneath.
Oh, I will say this. We don't really have much choice if it is purple worm. Because one of those doesn't let you see it at a distance. You just, get introduced to it. Very swiftly, loudly, violently, and with every single tooth in its face.
Oh God. Well.
Alright.
I'm not hearing one immediately, so
You keep going.
Evelyn looks around, keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
It's another 300-400 yards before Aethelwyn's boot hits something on the ground. You get a stocky human, well, most of a human. The top of his head seems to be missing, and so does everything that was once in it.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh.
That's bad.
So,
really bad.
either of you checking for name tags?
We
Yes.
probably should.
No, Natalie recognizes Professor Beetle. She had a class with him. That would be him, yes.
Just checking for name tags or rolling him over.
However, I don't think we need one, given that is definitely him. He's just missing the entire top of his head
Oh.
and all of his brains.
Oh.
And the
Well,
one
one
somewhat
mystery solved, another
reluctantly,
one.
the one somewhat reluctantly starts searching his pockets.
Make me an investigation check.
Well, one mystery is solved, but now comes the question of how the fuck did this happen?
his pockets all have holes in them. Not rips exactly, more, again, gnawing.
Rats. Potentially.
Well,
Well,
you don't really know. You just know Ethelwyn is feeling through, shirt pockets, trouser pockets, and seems to be frowning a little bit as hands go a little bit further than pockets should allow.
I think he took his rats with him, and then she leans over to look at the head more closely.
That would be more of. I mean, if you want to, you have gloves. You're gonna poke. You had a really good investigation check. No, that's not. The skull wasn't gnawed by rats. It's a different kind of rough. And there's marks along the face that would probably have resolved to bruises if he lived long enough. That suggest, frankly, tentacles.
Oh, I think you were right about the illithid.
Oh, great.
this is delightful, and I am the most delicious snack here, apparently.
I'm sure Ethelwyn, who considers herself quite the prodigy, is giving Natalie some looks at this point.
Ethelyn's, for once, a little bit too distracted and somewhat green.
Okay, fair enough.
Potential illithids.
Here's a question for the two of you with the exceptionally high intelligence. Only one illithid and hasn't come out for the rest of campus. Why not?
The things, they are hive mind, yes? They are hive mind. So, with illithid being hive mind, why is there only one? Why has there not been a, shall we say, invasion of campus?
Because Ethelwyn would be able to tell this guy's been dead for a few days.
Oh, this happened. I think it's been a few days, and the campus must have wards against things like this, except it's still. I suppose he
Not
lured
off the campus
beetles.
somehow.
And not to mention the fact that there, if there were wards and talking about illithids, why would they still be having classes in the basement?
This is. We should continue a little bit farther. Jalen, do you want to say something, or sure what you do?
Jalen just looks over the body, and looks up at the cave ceiling. I'll save it for when we get back outside. I don't know how much he'd be able to hear from down here.
No, Nerul can hear you from pretty much anywhere.
Oh, that's true, I guess. In that case, Jalen just starts a silent celestial prayer, kind of to himself more than anyone.
Yeah, the rites for Nerul are more, Nerul speed your journey and watch over you as you go to wherever you're supposed to be next.
And hope it is better than the fate that you have ended up here. Right. Shall we keep going then?
I'd say Most definitely, yes, because even one illithid is problem.
Okay, so you're continuing?
Yep.
You continue on, and it's maybe a half mile without much happening up until Aethelwyn's boot hits something else. It takes a minute to really identify from looking, because most of what you get is tattered cloth and equally tattered flesh and gnawed bones. But what you seem to have, after a certain amount of looking at facial shape and trying not to throw up, is a young illithid, small certainly, not a child, but certainly not a full-grown adult, that's been devoured by probably lots and lots of small somethings.
Well, there's our answer.
Oh my. That is. Aethon is very much torn between being grossed out and wanting to examine an Aethelid body.
Illithid, by the way.
Illithid.
Yes.
She.
That's the positions that you guys are in.
Oh, well, the rats seem to have survived and gotten vengeance. I wonder if he was experimenting on shared consciousness. The rats might still be acting in concert.
There's a chance.
Well, between the fellow with the missing brain, the very odd notes, and, well, now a very, very, very devoured flare of minds that may or may not have. Hold on. Can I have a look at that point light at it, please?
Yeah.
And I want to poke around, see if this is an actual proper cetamorphosis flare, or if this was one that got into a gnome or something.
Okay, make me a medicine check. And in the meantime, can Aethelwyn please make me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh no.
Okay, yeah, so, while I mean, Natalie is trying to, assess the thing, Aethelwyn is hit by Dominate Monster.
Ugh.
And now there is to be the hitting of the Natalie until she falls
Oh,
over and is
dear.
dead. So you get that surprise round, and then we will get everybody to roll initiative again.
Oh great.
Here we go, Gigabonk.
Oh, Aethelwyn. She has to swing both hands.
Well, it's just the one hit to start with. This is your surprise round, so it's, whoa dear. Yeah, roll damage. At least it's only 6 points of, yeah, so that's basically as Natalie is leaning forward, wham, 6 points of thunder damage. I would like y'all to roll initiative now while I put the well, to be fair, none of you can actually see where the cranium rat is, so I'll just put them off somewhere for the time being.
15.
Cranium rats. Well, they don't really need to move very fast. They've they have an Ethelwyn for the moment. Okay, so yeah, they go before Ethelwyn though. So that's Natalie. For fuck's sake. Ah, there we go. Natalie, you've just been whammed in sort of that unfortunately it's that really tender area around the shoulder blades that you've just been whammed with. And I will say for the record that that Ethelwyn doesn't look particularly with it right now, from what you can see from the.
Kindly pull your mind back out of your ass so that I don't have to get smacked by you and have more difficulty continuing my studies than I need to.
And mind sliver on Ethelwyn.
Okay. We gave you a clicky for that. Yes, we did.
Yeah, intelligence saves. That's a different story.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a save. That's a save or suck. So yeah, no.
Well, you attempt to channel the ow I just got subjected to, did not work.
No, to
Shit.
bonus action. Because unfortunately, I don't think.
Yeah, none of the rest of my stuff is bonus action.
Okay. I just if I I ask this just in case because I can't keep track of what everybody's got. So just if I say bonus action and you don't have one, just say no.
Gotcha.
Jalen.
Yeah. This is a weird situation. I just watched The Artifice slap the living hell out of Natalie, and then
Yeah, you can probably see better than most because of dark vision. She's not really with it right now, and then again, you don't know what might have been done to the fucking rats. So,
nope. Just couldn't. Does this work? Sorry, I'm reading TM.
can you post the thing? What are you looking at?
I'm looking at. Hang on, I will post it. I am looking specifically at lesser restoration.
No, because the condition is blinded,
Yep,
deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Yep. Wrong
or
condition
diseased. Yeah.
Wrong condition. So in that case, what I will be casting is a bonus action spiritual weapon.
Okay.
That did not do what I thought that was going to do.
Well, here, I'll click show spell description because that'll help.
Perfect.
Yeah. What does your weapon look like?
The weapon takes the form of a there's a specific type of axe that I am blanking on the name of, and like an axe that has a longer handle to it.
Poleaxe.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's where we were going with that. Okay, poleaxe. So where are you putting it?
Assuming we are all
you were in that line. I think Natalie would have moved up to about there, and that's why Ethelwyn is. Let me do a quick sketch of where you guys are, because again, I didn't really. No, that's not really.
And that is
enough.
okay.
So, okay, now you go back there. Draw shape.
So I'm casting this somewhere adjacent.
Basically,
to,
I mean it goes further ahead or behind, but you've got a little bit of wiggle room, but not that much. And you
No.
don't really know where the rat is, so like I say, I'm just... That's a swarm
It'll
of
just be
rats, by the
there.
way. So, sorry,
Um,
click and hold, and it'll show me where I want to put the thing.
Sort of kind of on the side here.
Okay,
in one of these.
well, that'll be your spiritual weapon there.
So that 24 I assume is
The attack.
spell attack that triggers when it casts.
Yes.
So
that
24 to hit.
that I'm pretty sure that hits even you. Ethelwyn? Noms.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yes. So click on for roll damage. Just click on
Yes.
spiritual weapon.
I
The button in the chat. The
There you go. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah. Wham. So that's your bonus
the
action.
action thing.
Action.
My action is probably just this swing with my mace since we're all kind of clumped together.
I'm gonna say something because nobody ever thinks of this. If you don't want to hurt the person who's doing the hitting, ever consider an athletics check to grapple?
I have proficiency in that. Actually, that's probably a better strategic thing.
That's
to
it.
do.
I only, and it's not just you. Everybody's immediate response is to hit the thing, and I like to remind that there's other options.
There are other options, and I also have to remember this sometimes. I actually like the sound of that. Yeah.
So yeah,
So-
just roll me an athletics check. It's contested, so Ethelwyn, you too. Oh dear.
Yep.
Oh no, fingers crossed.
Oh.
Ah,
Yeah, no, it's
Never
too
mind.
much. It's too much coat and
not enough person undercoat.
okay, that's the point at which the rats, who are kind of aggravated by the individual trying to take their weapon away, swarm you.
Ah,
So all of a sudden, you are basically covered in rats with exposed brains that are weirdly enough the same size and shape as those little dome doohickeys on the. Thankfully, they're squirmy, but you're squirmier, and the very action of trying. Basically, when Ethelwyn shrugs you off, your flail manages to keep them from actually being able to hit you. So that plus your armor is just like, but you've got rats everywhere.
there are rats.
Ethelwyn, make me a wisdom saving throw.
There are rats. There are so many rats.
Oh,
God.
There you go, well.
Okay, yeah, you're. To be fair, you're on Ellon now. He's the pain in the ass right now.
Yep.
So, you're hitting him.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Yep,
Okay,
that connects.
5 thunder damage and second.
At least that was in that one, too.
Yes, well,
Second.
Yep, still, you got me. Another 5.
Jesus Christ. Okay,
Cool.
Natalie, this is going poorly.
Shit. Well, think, yep, is going to be time for biased as hell AoEs. So,
Well, you did hear Jalen going, there are rats. There are rats.
There are many rats. We have a problem. There are rats.
so yeah, I'm going to point at where I remembered Jalen being and center a shatter directly on Jalen. Except I'm choosing to exclude Jalen from the effect.
Okay. Yay, evocation wizards. Okay. Go
So
ahead.
I'm going to use the clicky that you gave me.
Constitution save for a swarm of cranium rats.
I think being a swarm, they might be more vulnerable to getting blapped. I don't recall if there's an
No,
there's an
actually,
AoE.
no. There's nothing for a swarm of cranium rats. There's nothing about that, but they do have resistances to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and condition immunities to a whole lot more. However, they did not make their Constitution save, and yeah, that's many rats die.
Do they also have to Constitution save to keep concentration on Dominate?
Fair enough. Con save. And that they make.
Oh.
Damn it.
Okay. Bonus action?
Nope, that's pretty much it. If I move, I get attack of opportunity.
No, because you're up. Oh, yeah,
Not
because
necessarily, yeah.
Eighth will win.
Yeah.
Not even if you like, or unless. Oh, are you trying to back up? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm given I'm right here. If I move in any direction away from the bonk, I will get bonked, and I have very little HP.
You probably have a fair bit more than she does. Speaking of, Jalen.
Yeah. I just got fucked up by a whole bunch of rats.
No, you got fucked
Ethelwyn's
up by
not too
Ethelwyn.
hot either
The
right now,
rats
so-
all missed you.
Fucked up by Ethelwyn, and the rats are now also a problem.
Well,
I don't have to keep up concentration.
no,
on
you
that.
don't have
That
to
is
keep up concentration on
useful.
spiritual weapon, and that has its own turn. So once you've cast it as a bonus action, you can use other bonus actions. I think.
Yep.
Yes, as a bonus action on my turn, I can move it up to 20 feet and repeat an attack against something, which is actually kind of perfect. Is it possible I could move the weapon sort of through Ethelwyn to try and turn the poleaxe on the rats?
Well, 5, 10, 15 means that I'll draw this time I'll do a circle so that we'll keep a certain amount of track. So, because you could move to
20 feet.
Yeah, 5, 10, 15. So you don't have to go through
perfect.
anybody.
Perfect. So I'll use my bonus action to have it repeat the attack. Where are my buttons? Give me push the button.
Clicky buttons. Yes, that definitely hits the rats. Roll damage.
Outstanding. Another crack of force. Okay.
Okay. That's your bonus action. So your action?
I am reading. Doing a lot of reading. I don't entirely think
bonus
Path to
action
the Grave.
bonk.
I don't know if Path to the Grave works on the swarm.
Well, I mean, cranium rats, no, they count as swarm, not creature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured. I'm doing a lot of reading. I apologize.
Can I flag up that your best bet at this point, because we still have to hopefully shake the nonsense off Ethelwyn. At this point, your best bet might be to let your spiritual weapon do the heavy lifting and maybe cure wounds.
That is actually probably exactly what I'm doing, because that makes a lot of sense in the larger scheme. The question is, do I take the gamble of cure woundsing Natalie, or do I give a
Cure
little
wounds
bit
yourself.
of-
I'm across a person from you. You're not reaching me.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll buttons. I'll cure wounds myself at first level as the action. That's 7.
Hey.
That's actually really nice.
Good, cool. Okay.
And that is, I believe, the entirety of my turn, because moving is awful.
More of half its hit points it can cast the... Huh. Well, there's one thing. You have made damn sure that it can't cast anymore. As long as it has more than half its hit points, it can innately cast spells. And now it's down to half its hit points, so it can't do what I was planning on having it do, because now it's... I mean, it doesn't take away the dominate monster, but now it's kind of stuck with just trying to nomf you.
I've been nommed.
They've attempted to nom. They've attempted to nomf you, but mostly they're just getting mouthfuls of armor and priest robe.
Cassock with a breastplate on it. That's just funny to me for some reason.
Well, no, leather armor, probably with the cassock over top.
Ah.
Ethelwyn, make me a wisdom saving throw, for fuck's sake!
Please, God.
It's amazing.
But the thing
Yes,
is,
it
you're now basically it's one attack for each of them because they're both pissing these rats off. So first one for Natalie.
Oh, that won't hit Natalie.
No, that
Good thing you put up mage armor.
mage armor. Yes. So
Yep.
pings off the mage armor and
That absolutely clocks me up.
Oh,
Ow, dude. Oh, no.
Natalie, top of the round, Natalie. You see, that's dying of laughter.
Well, loud noises seem to be working, so... But we have other potentials to be having, so... Clap, clap. AoE once again ignoring...
Jalen.
Once again ignoring Jalen, and... Burning Hands of... God damn it, wouldn't let me upcast.
So wait a minute, you're ignoring Jalen. Are you ignoring Ethelwyn?
Honestly? No. So I figure we can peel Ethelwyn back up off the floor after knocking her out and dealing with the rats. I'd rather just whoosh, heat exhaustion, drop.
Except she makes the dexterity saving throw anyway.
oh. Yep, she's still up.
But the rats, on the other hand, are not. Yeah, the rats, on the other hand, do not. And yeah, there's rather fewer rats than there were before. And let me just see what's going on with the And finally, Ethelwyn snaps out of it. She sort of ducks the flames and, what the fuck have I just been doing?
You may be still slightly toasty because take half as much.
Yep, she's barely standing.
Yeah, she's barely standing. She's a bit singed, but she does recognize that she has been beating these two quite a lot. Jalen, you do finally see Ethelwyn start to snap out of it, and there's rather fewer rats now.
Thank gods. Thank all of the gods. That takes it to... That is me next, right?
Yes, that's you. That's why I
Cool.
was saying.
With one problem neutralized, I'll do what I did before, where I start with my bonus action to try and get another hit down on the rats.
Okay.
On this button.
Okay, yeah, roll damage.
Boop. Yep.
And
Bam.
it's the new guy. How do you want to do this?
Oh,
God, that feels good.
Does, doesn't it?
Really does. So with the last couple of rats, I just imagine the poleaxe slowly spinning into almost a circular buzzsaw, just going across the floor and just leaving decimation and bloody rat brains everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, that's. You guys are immensely battered, but and heavily splattered with rat bits.
gonna deep breaths, very rapid, panicky deep breaths.
Well, it's good that at least mind is your own again.
Thank God for that.
Oh, Natalie, sorry.
Honestly,
You did most of the damage to him.
honestly, I got quite a bit back with at the very least, boom, and toasting. I do have access to fire. I just don't use it in libraries.
The wind looks over her shoulder down the tunnel.
It mostly seems to be tunnel, and at this point, I think Jalen, being the wise one, being okay, we've dealt with the immediate problem. There doesn't seem to be anything here. Maybe we should just get security
Probably,
to
yeah.
collapse this tunnel.
Ethan
We
is
need
definitely
this
looking
tunnel
more
gone.
for other creatures rather than continuing.
You're not hearing or seeing much of anything.
We should go back.
We got
Well,
it.
yes, an ambush would do us rather badly at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Ithawin looks for the most intact rat corpse.
They're I think it's mostly the ones that got hit by shatter. Well, they're broken. They're not mince. Or, charcoal briquettes.
Well, there is one that isn't on fire, there's one that is on fire, there's one that one should work.
That's
Yes, because what you're seeing is the ones that are vaguely intact rats with little exposed brains.
Oh, this is really gross, but this could be important, so I'm just gonna take
All we
this
know it's
one.
evidence, so
Yes, I'm gonna let's go.
yep, let's go. And this time I'm leading the way back since I can actually see shit.
Yes. You do manage to get back without incident because you did clear the way. Are you going? I mean, I'm assuming you come out of Beetle's office in the
Yep.
mess that you're currently in, at which point you have a whole bunch of students and the professor going, "What the fuck happened
So-
to you people?"
So the illithid that may or may not have been interacting with beetles.
The what?
Dead.
The what?
He is also
Don't-
dead
it's
because
dead,
he's
don't
missing
worry
his
about
brain.
it.
And then they were also collaborating and resulted in show. Ellon, kindly hold up, rat, please.
Rat?
Do you have something somewhere we could put this, Professor?
At which point Maddie sort of digs out a wax paper bag, dumps out a handful of sweeties. First hands the bag and then offers the sweeties to you all with the other hand.
Thank you. Very
Okay,
much.
Happily take
It's-
one.
It should not leak very much. No, please take them. I don't have any place else to put them.
Okay, I'm just gonna carefully start pocketing the lot
Give-
of them and
give- no.
start.
Yes, give
Handing them to the
some
other
to the others. You look like you need some sugars.
Yeah, I will make sure they each have a portion.
Good. Okay,
Okay.
yes, and they should not drip. But this went smush. Goodness. Okay,
The fact-
Mhm.
and the instructor, look. Okay, you put your. Oh goodness, I don't know what happened here, and I don't think I'm gonna know. Take this back up to Professor Turner, and we will get somebody to. I'm assuming. I don't know, fill that whole place in with concrete or something.
Yes, that would be a good
Something
idea.
like that
And
would be
also,
ideal.
Professor Beetle's body is back there.
Still down the hole,
There.
unfortunately.
Okay, what? No, I'm not paid enough for this. Get Professor Turner. She's paid enough for this.
Yes.
It,
Thank you.
Turner!
No, it's one of those situations where they're looking sweet. You shot very impressively, my friend, but you are not hearable through levels of. She is back up in her office, you see.
If the
Worth a
one
shot.
starts
Turner is
bubbling
department
that way.
head. They have to go upstairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Up we go.
Well, up into the elevator and back into the back into the tiny little foyer. Do you knock, barge in? What?
This is
Well,
going
I
to
try and
before
knock.
as they're knocking message. We have report and also remains.
Come in. The door's
If one
open.
goes in and flops on the chair.
Calatiel gets up out of the other one. Gestures to
the afternoon
Natalie,
governor.
and I'm just letting the one who has some mobility issues sit down. Although you look a little bit the worse for wear.
I think we're all a little worse for the wear. A little bit.
Good
I am actually
grief!
perfectly all right.
Look at you.
I'm fine.
If the one doesn't look
Perfectly
fine.
Yeah, no, to be fair, nobody looks fine.
Hilariously, I actually look the most okay. I only got cracked
Probably,
once.
yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Basically, Calatiel boops first Natalie on the nose, boop, and you're basically back at full health. And boops Jalen on the nose, boop, back at full health. Boops Ethelwyn on the nose, boop, back at full health. And it just literally is boop, boop, boop.
If the one still looks a little shell-shocked.
Yes, I cannot do
She's
anything
not
about
achy.
Twitchy.
Thank you very kindly, Governor.
One moment, and I'm going to just try to get the bag full of rat away from Ethelwyn so I can show.
Now,
Bag of a rat.
this is what we found in the hole. The thing that ate Professor Beetle.
he was collaborating with an illithid, and it seems that it turned on him, and then the cranium rats result, the brain rats that happened, turned on him. Turned on the illithid, rather.
Takes the bag.
And I'm carefully extracting the rat.
Okay.
You have the notes, Natalie.
They do. And producing the weird undercommon scribblings.
He didn't leave the building because there was a hole in the wall that led downwards.
Professor Turner's like, I'm going to have to write a whole new section of the bylaws in this place about modifying your office.
There's a device we left in his office that connected to the rats, I believe.
Probably over their heads.
At which point, Calatiel just goes, take me down there. And Professor
Gladly.
Turner is just like, "Well, okay. Meanwhile, we'll call maintenance and security and get them to... No. And Calatiel's just, no, don't worry about it. I will collapse the tunnel. I healed them. I can collapse the tunnel. It's not a problem. Okay. And yet another one in the column of, what the fuck is our governor?
Best. That's what they are.
You lead Calatiel down there and just it doesn't even hesitate, just clamber. Oh, looks at that climbs back out the hole, heedless of whether you guys are in the way. Just, can you show me what you said was connected to the heads?
Yes, we'll go grab that.
And Dwink takes the rat corpse, which they've stuffed in a pocket, basically.
I just love Calatiel.
Oh, no, I see the problem. He did not try to connect this. He took regular rats and... Hang on a minute. That clambers out, taps on the bookshelves and pries. False bookshelves. Those were rat cages. Now all empty. And largely chewed through with the bottom.
Oh.
Okay, well, now I want to go and see these well, we'll look at Beetle, and then we will look at the illithid corpse, and then we'll see what I will have to be doing. Don't worry, when you are with me, nothing is going to hurt you. I promise this. Come on. Come.
Okay.
You ain't.
I am fucking delighted by this proposition, and I'm following head first.
You back past Beetle, and past the illithid corpse, and back past the rest of the cranium rats. You all did wonderfully. I am definitely going to tell... Is it Ms. Quickflight, Mrs. Harthart? That I cannot keep track anymore. But anyway, we keep going. So I see how far this is. You'll come with me. Don't worry about it. Come.
I'm enthusiastically hobbling along.
Yeah, they try to keep a pace that you can manage, but there's a fair bit of walking before you come to a much deeper hole down there. Okay, I think I may have an idea of where illithid things came from, but this is not for you to be concerned about. However, I'm going to deal with this, but you're probably going to see how I start with the dealing with it. So I have to basically say that I will ensure that you get a suitable topping up of your grants and your introduction to our esteemed guest, and you at the very least. We will do lunch, we'll do things, but you have to promise that you do not say a thing about what you're about to see.
Okay.
Say a thing about what exactly?
Sorry, repeat
No,
that.
I was just saying, say a thing about what exactly?
That's the spirit! Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and probably find an illithid nest. And you got your hole that's leading out sort of into depths, and Calatail just jumps. And about a second later, gargantuan copper dragon,
Oh!
who does a little loop-de-loop. I'm going to go eat elephants! Vroom. Go home!
Okay.
Okay.
Have fun. Devouring the brain, I guess.
Thank you! And
I need to tell my brain to shut up right now.
sorry, repeat that. You were talking into your hand.
I need to tell my brain to shut up right now before it delves into exactly how an illithid tastes.
Probably badly cooked calamari.
Very badly
right?
cooked calamari.
So, yeah, you guys tromp back. By the time you get there, you've got the people in the the medical department having taken both Beetle and the illithid corpse and what they could of the
Remains.
cranium rats, just so they could study it. And you've already got the people who are working in your in various artillerist alchemist kind of spots discussing the best ways of collapsing the tunnel. Calatail would have informed you that they would find their own way out, so not to worry about that whole thing. So yes, mission accomplished. You yep. You get your spot in your in the tutorials with Twilla Quick Flight, and you all are invited, although you can theoretically refuse, your own separate lunch dates with Calatail because they think you are all in your own way adorable.
Yeah, the one will go.
And
Dear God, you
fine.
have made Adelie's, like, next 3-4 years at least.
And so, yeah, you successfully managed to, as a level 3 party, deal with a level 5 threat. And if anybody had to get the kill shot, I'm glad it was Nyx. So
Welcome to the layers of...
yeah, I mean, we'll be a little bit better prepared next week. I don't know if you want to join us again next week. We might have more party. Next week, I'm thinking about a slightly higher level thing, a brass arrow hunt challenge.
Okay.
In the desert wastes of Alamaver, in and around the free city of Alzor, where they met Alice, you have to go and fulfill a bounty to become a brass arrow and be allowed to hunt the Alamaver desert wastes. It also puts you in very good position to get and collect information about a place. Because brass arrows are not just hunters, they are also informants. They're scouts, they're not quite spies, but they very much keep the governor of Alamaver, Crea Bendis, apprised of what's going on in the wider world. So you'd probably be looking at a level 7 party.
Level 7, got it.
I'll do the same thing where I roll your base stats and we'll set up some time during the week for each of you, because I have the week off, so I'm good.
Oh, beautiful.
And we'll see what we can find for you to hunt. And we might have a larger party, I don't know, but if it's just you 3, I will be content.
Sounds
So
good.
I'll see 2 of you tomorrow. I'll see you, I guess, next week. And
Yeah.
thank you very much. That was great fun. Awesome. Bye, guys.